my dear PU2 warriors, welcome to Deeksha Karnataka YouTube channel. And your practical exams are near and you are wondering, sir, how to perform the experiment, how the marks will be distributed, what are my chances of getting that 30 marks out of 30. Those 30 marks sometimes least cared about, but it is very important. Even if you lose 1 or 2 marks, sometimes that can make a huge difference in your scoring. So these 30 marks, don't lose any marks in that. So I will try to help you out so that you can secure the 30 out of 30 marks. So what all you have to do? First of all, practical exams will happen mostly in your colleges, unless you are a new college, and experiments, basically the experiments list will be shared by your college. Different colleges perform different experiments. You have, how many experiments are there? Total 14 experiments are there. Out of these 14 experiments, the list of this experiment is available to download from PU website. If you want the link, you can mention in the comment below. I know most of you have it in your lab manual also, it is mentioned. So out of the 14 experiments, 12 are compulsory to record in your lab manual. Okay, some of you may have recorded 10 experiment because 10 experiment is performed in your college, but don't forget to record at least 12 experiment. Not all 14s are required, but generally most of the colleges, they do not perform all the 14 experiments, but recording wise 12 are mandatory. You do not need to record 14 of them, but 12 are mandatory. You have to record all 12 of the, at least 12 of the experiments. Okay, so based on your colleges, you know better. Okay, so generally they I am telling you one secret, they generally perform 9 to 10 experiments, and remaining 2 to 3 they give you the manual from old students, or they perform the experiment using a setup which is not recommended by PU board, but still they do it because they have to record the experiment, right? So all out of 14, 12 experiments are important to record. Some experiments will not come in your board exam because they are difficult to perform, so teachers generally exclude those experiments. Also remember that most colleges perform a lottery system when you get the experiment. So there will be a bunch of number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you have to pick up, choose one of the chits, and based on the chit number that you have lifted, there will be different experiment mentioned according to the list that the invigilators have, and you will be assigned to the particular experiment. Then you have to do the experiment, you have to record it, and don't forget to record, verify your data with the invigilator or external teacher, whoever is visiting. So that is mandatory. Sometimes it has to be first data generally has to be recorded in the presence of your verified, not recorded, it has to be verified by the one of the teachers that is present in the laboratory at that time. Okay, it can be the external, it can be the internal. So whoever is present, you have to ask them, sir, I am ready with my experiment, I want to record. Do not submit the recorded final recorded experiment list when you are submitting it. After your for evaluation, you have to at least record one set of data through your internal or external invigilator. It depends. Some colleges generally prefer to do it through internals only, but you have to show or record one set of data in front of the invigilator. That is very important point to remember. Next, so how the marks are getting distributed. So 30 marks are there. How you will get the marks? So performing the experiment, the 20 marks are allotted for that. On the day of examination, the experiment that you are performing during 2.5 hours to 3 hours duration, whatever you will be doing, that 20 marks is allotted for that day only. Now class attendance, now if you have more than 75% attendance, then 5 marks you will get for sure. Okay, so make sure you are obviously aware of that. So if you are attending the college regularly, attending the lab classes as per the schedule, then 5 marks will be already in your pocket. Practical record, as I mentioned, if you have recorded all the 12 experiments, then 5 marks will be awarded to us. Okay, so total 14 experiments are there, minimum 12 experiments to be recorded. If you do not record 12 experiments, marks will be deducted. In fact, if you record only 5 experiments, thinking that okay, I only attended 5 classes, I will record only 5 experiments, then you will get 0 marks for lab record. Okay, so 5 or below does not being considered as a valid record book. So minimum 12 experiments will be you need to record. If you record even 11 of them, 1 mark will be deducted. Okay, so based on the number of experiment you have recorded, marks will be deducted. So make sure you record 12 of the experiment. Very, very, very important. Next is how the marks are being given to you. So writing the principle of the experiment. So suppose you have the experiment of figure of merit of a galvanometer. So what is the exact principle behind the experiment? So there is a principle behind each and every experiment. You have to mention the principle of the experiment. For that you will get, so first when you are starting in the exam hall, when you are writing on a paper, first you have to write, first thing that you have to write is aim of the experiment. Aim means the same experiment that you have get to determine the figure of merit. You have to write it like this way: to determine, to find, to calculate. So to has to be we have to start with to determine, to find, to calculate. So this is how you should start: determine. Okay, so they will give you the question as determine the figure of merit of galvanometer. You have to write to determine the figure of merit of a galvanometer, like that. Okay, so you have to add a 2 in that. Okay, so this is your aim of the experiment. Next you have to write the principle, working principle, or the main thing that governs it. Each experiment has a principle behind it. So remember, or try to remember all the principle. Okay, principle of the experiment. Now once you have written the principle, next you have to write the formula and explain the terms. Very, very important. Whatever formula is involved in the experiment, you have to write the formulas and explaining the terms. So suppose you are writing Coulomb's law or any form, you have to explain what is K, what is Q, what is R. So you have to mention those values. Writing diagram. So if it is a circuit diagram based experiment, you have to draw the circuit diagram. Okay, you have to draw the circuit diagram. Like for example, when you are recording in your lab experiment record book, you generally write in front of it, and in the back side you draw the diagram. The white page you use to draw the diagram, draw the graphs. But here you can write one after another. No such restriction will be there. You can write the principle, write the equation, explain the terms, then you draw the circuit diagram, then you can continue writing. Okay, writing diagram, circuit diagram, or any figure that is required for you to perform the experiment, you will get 2 marks for that. Okay, writing tabular column, observation pattern. Okay, so if you are, when you are doing the experiment, you have to record certain data. So that data, suppose variable x, variable y. So when you are recording, so for variable x equals to 0, y was also 0. When variable x equals to 1, variable was 5. So you have to record, show the record, and when you are doing it, you have to sign one of the recorded value with the internal invigilator. He will sign it like this. Okay, so this is verified. Next, constructing the experimental setup circuit. So when you are doing, suppose you are doing U and V graph method. Okay, so once you find the null point, so for when you exactly find the position where your image pin and object pin matches with each other, okay, that point is when zero parallax method. So when you get the zero parallax, you have to call the invigilators. Okay sir, I have found the zero parallax, please sign the data. And once it is done, you have to once you achieve it, basically that guarantees you to get 3 marks. Okay, so if it is a circuit diagram related question, once you completed the circuit, okay, you can call the teacher and say, I have completed the circuit, please verify it once for me. So circuit, if you have constructed the circuit, if you have constructed the whatever reading required for the experiment, you get 3 marks. That is almost guaranteed. This 3 marks is almost guaranteed as long as you are doing nothing wrong. Performing the experiment and entering the readings into the tabular column, observing the pattern. So tabular column, just to write the tabular column, you get 2 marks. Now when you insert the data inside the tabular column, you will get 4 marks. So only for the tabular column, writing the tabular column and inserting the data, you will get 6 marks. So make sure you are writing the correct tabular form. substitute and calculate by plotting the graph if it is required to plot the graph, or it might be required to use the equation to find the value. So based on your experiment, so either it will be a graph plotting or it will be a calculation based question, so you will get 3 marks for that. If it is a calculation based, doing the correct calculation will give you 3 marks, doing the plotting the correct graph will give you 3 marks. Result with unit and accuracy is final result. Generally students lose marks in this category, because if you do everything, even if your final result is not exact, okay, you might lose 1 mark. You might lose 1 mark because your accuracy is not correct, okay. But otherwise, if you perform everything properly, okay, you should be able to score 28 marks, including your attendance and record book, okay. Even if you have not done the experiment properly, even if your result is wrong, you still can score 28 marks, because results and accuracy is only 2 marks. Results with accuracy and unit, so basically you will lose 1 mark only. So there is a high chance you can score 29 even if your final result is wrong. So make sure if you write the final result as correct as possible, so you can score 20 over here as well. And as you can see, good news is that there is no viva. So in the marking sim previously there used to be viva, so the external generally used to take the viva, but there is no viva that is happening from this year onwards. So viva is deleted, so you do not need to worry about, okay, what question the sir will ask. No need to worry about it, okay. So teacher might ask you some questions, but that is not part of the evaluation, okay. Viva is deleted, so be happy about it. Also, when you are doing experiment, take care of these things, okay. Otherwise you may not get exact 4 marks for the tabular the table that you are writing, okay. So if you are doing an experiment where calculation is important, if you are doing an experiment where calculation is important and you need to take the mean value, okay, when you want to take the mean value, you have to take minimum of 3 different readings. You have to take 3 different readings. If the experiment involves a graph plotting, for example, the forward bias graph of a PN junction. If you are doing forward bias graph of a PN junction, then you have to take 5 readings minimum 5 readings needs to be taken in case of plotting a graph. So if you are plotting a graph, 5 reading, if you are doing it via equation, calculation based equation, figure of merit equation, so in that case you have to take at least 3 data, okay. At least 3 different values you have to record to calculate the mean value. Very, very, very important, okay. Now what else? Obviously, if you are preparing for your KCET exam, then definitely you should not forget ABHYAS KCET test series, which is already live, and our batch 2 will be available very, very soon. And entire price is $14.99. You will get 35 KCET tests, as also you will get the chapter wise PYQs as free, and real KCET exam pattern and timing, which is very, very essential for you to prepare for KCET exam. And all the best for your practical exams. I'll be back with more informative practical videos, so stay tuned. And if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Till then, bye.